This week on the Pathways to Success, we're going to show you how to start, build, and monetize a YouTube channel. Welcome everyone to the Pathways to Success podcast. This week on the show, I have Joe Scott, who is the founder and creator of the Answers with Joe YouTube channel, which has amassed a following of more than 75,000 subscribers, and he's also the founder of the healthcare product, the oral healthcare product, Canker Boy. So Joe Scott, welcome to the podcast, man.
How you doing?
Dude. Joe, I gotta say, you are the first legit YouTube famous person I've had on the podcast, man, so thanks for coming on.
I'm micro-famous.
You're micro-famous.
Yeah. What that means is that, like, I don't get recognized on the street or anything, but the people who follow me, when they see me in person, they still have this, like, ooh, you're real kind of thing.
You've been right. When we had lunch, like, some people have recognized you, right? Or at least reach out to you quite a bit. People saying that you've changed their lives, right?
Well, no, I mean, like, an email and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I've never, like, been walking down the street or at the mall or something, had somebody.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that moment.
You're waiting for that
Somebody do that, please. Been doing this for so long.
So let's start at the beginning, man. Tell us, like, what was life like? What was your background before all this YouTube craziness started to happen?
Well, you know, I worked at the Dallas Morning News for about 12 years total. But I started the YouTube channel while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to go further back, I made a movie way back when, like in the early 2000s. It was called Oceanfront Property, and that was when I first opened up or started a YouTube channel. YouTube was a totally different thing back then. It was basically a place to upload video.
This would have been 2004?
2005.
Okay, yeah.
And the thing there was, you know, I made this movie and I was trying to promote it and get it out there, and at the time the only way, you know, I had this trailer I was really proud of, but the only way to send it to people was through email, and so you had to, like, put it down to postage stamp size and, you know, to make it fit in an email.
Yep.
So YouTube came along. It's like, oh, I can just send people a link and they can go to this thing. That's brilliant, right? And so that's why I started it. And to this day, the very first thing that's on there is the trailer for my movie. Anyway, YouTube kind of became a thing after that, like YouTube as we know it today, with YouTubers and, you know, channels and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I had done some videos where I was just kind of like talking head stuff, talking about the movie, just kind of promote it. Mm-hmm. And I just really liked doing it. So I started doing some more of those, and I really dedicated myself to it in 2014. That's when I really started being consistent about it. And it just kind of became that from there.
So it really was just a place for you to put your trailer in the very beginning. You had no idea what it was going to become?
Well, nobody did at the time. It was 2006.
Right, yeah.
I would not be surprised if my channel is in one of the top 1% oldest channels on YouTube.
Do you think that has to do with, like, your level of success when it comes to building? Like, how important is the age of a channel, I guess, when it comes to that?
No.
No?
No, and in fact, I kick myself so much because I mean, like in 2010 and then in 2012, I started, you know, it's called Answers with Joe now. I originally called it Ask Joe. I think there was somebody else that had that name, so I wound up changing it. But,
okay.
I would start it and I would do it for a few months, and then I'd get, you know, discouraged because I wasn't getting enough views, and then I'd stop. And again, I kick myself now because if I had done in 2010 what I started doing in 2014, I'd be so far along by now. But no, like in 2006. It was really just a place to upload videos, and then over, like, the next couple of years, it became the thing where people could upload their vlogs. You know, vlogging became a thing. Yeah. Somehow, still on my iPhone, it corrects me when I write vlog. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't know what the word vlog is yet. Come on, man.
It's 2017.
It's only been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that kind of became a thing. But to answer your question, I don't think the age of my channel has helped it necessarily, just because it was only in 2014 when I started doing it consistently that it started.
So why did you start this channel? Was it a creative outlet? Did you have kind of an overarching vision for it, or what?
Well, so again, with the filmmaking background, anybody that works in film or is trying to get films made, it's just an endless series of catch-22s. Yeah. You know, and it's so frustrating. You got to spend years just getting the money together, and then you finally make the movie, and then it's another year of editing, and then if you can get a theater to even play it, people watch it and go, huh. And that's about all you get, you know. Mm-hmm. On YouTube, you can spend a little bit of time. Obviously, you want to make a good one. You don't just throw crap up. But I can put something up and get people see it immediately.
Yeah.
And it's still, I always say it scratched all my itches. I was still writing, I was still producing, shooting, performing, because I do some acting too. So it was all kind of wrapped together in that package. And I remember a specific moment. I was walking to my car after work, and it's weird how like memories, you can like go back to a specific place where you had that thought.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about here. But I was walking out to my car, and I'd always been struggling, like I shouldn't be doing YouTube. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an artist, right? And I was really struggling with that. And I finally just kind of like let that go. I was like, no, just this. You're getting everything you need out of this. All the itches are being scratched. That's why you're doing it. Allow yourself to do it. Allow yourself to be this, and just go with it.
Yeah.
So that might answer your question right there. Like it just kind of it touched all those creative itches that I've always had.
So when did you start taking it seriously, and it started to kind of, I guess, you really put the consistency into it? Like, what were those early days look like? Yeah.
When I started getting serious about it?
Yeah.
Well, the story is, like I said, I would start it, I would do it for, 3 to 6 months, and then I'd get discouraged. And
you were discouraged because nobody was watching, or?
When you put 20 hours of work a week into a video and 30 people see it, it's pretty discouraging. But what wound up happening was I'd stepped away from it for a while, and I think I told you the story when we had lunch, but I stepped away from it for a while, and then Tim Ferriss had some contest where he was like, upload a video explaining why you should win this contest, and you can spend a week on an island with Richard Branson and me, right? Who doesn't want that? So I did a little video, and I was like, this is for an audience of one, and I put it up, and I got some random person commenting on it. I remember his name was Mr. Electric Pop.
Mr. Electric Pop.
Yeah, I still remember
What's
the
up,
name.
Mr. Electric Pop?
Thank you, sir. But no, he commented and was like, where have you been, man? I miss your videos. And I was just like, who the hell are you?
Who the heck is this guy?
Yeah, I was like, somebody's watching my videos? I had no idea. Like, I thought it was just friends and family on Facebook or something like that. And so it just kind of hit me. It's like, wow, there's somebody out there that wants to see my stuff. So I stopped thinking of it in terms of how many people are watching this and just said, somebody's watching this.
Yeah.
And, I started thinking of Mr. Electric Pop. And so I started making videos specifically to whoever might be watching it. And I determined that I was going to do it every Monday, no matter what. Even if I had to just take my phone and say, I don't have a video today, hi guys, like I'm going to do that. And
what was your release schedule at that time?
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
2014. Fall of 2014 is when I started doing that.
Fall of 2014.
So it's been 3 years. Yeah.
It's been 3 years.
Now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did it start? When did it start to gain kind of momentum? Like, what were some of those early indicators?
Well, so it's become sort of a science channel, a science education entertainment channel,
right.
nerd channel, if you will, which is fine because I grew up with a space shuttle poster on my wall and all that, But I guess you could say where things really started to turn was I did a video on the Fermi paradox. And it was asked by a friend of mine from college. And his question was actually, why haven't we seen any evidence of aliens out there? And if you're not familiar with the Fermi paradox, it's basically Enrico Fermi back in the 40s basically asked, where are all the aliens when you look at the hundreds of billions of stars in the galaxy?
Yeah.
Just playing with the numbers, there should be a whole bunch of alien civilizations out there, and we haven't seen any. So I ran across an article that had some really it was like 10 interesting theories as to why this is, and so I basically stole from the article and presented it. And for some reason, Google liked it. The Google gods picked up on it.
Yeah.
It got a whole lot of views, and that brought me a lot more subscribers. They started asking. I never actually said it's more of a question and answer show.
Right.
It's kind of gotten away from that a little bit lately, but it was always like I would take questions that people asked in comments and do videos off of that. So it's very interactive with the audience, which I highly recommend. But anyway, so a lot of nerds started watching it, started asking more nerdy science questions. I was happy to oblige, and so it just kind of that became more of a focus. And went from there.
So what do you think were some of the keys in gaining kind of that initial following then?
With the nerdy following?
Yeah, well, I mean, just the following in general, right? It seems like, well, there's a few things I picked up from that. It looked like it was something very specific. It was something people cared about, and you cared to create content about it. So I guess, like, what were some of those things, in your view, having done it, were some of those initial things that triggered the success of this channel?
I guess the best answer I can give is that I just I allowed myself to flex a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, early on it was more of a comedy channel. That was the idea. I had played around with some stand-up comedy. I didn't really like the lifestyle of it, but I was like, hey, I can go on YouTube and make funny videos, and that was the whole thing. And sometimes people would ask a question, I'd just make fun of the question. You know, it was never something that I really took seriously.
Yeah.
And there was also, I should say, there was a metamorphosis a bit. And I don't know if this answers the question of why it built an audience or not. I'm just kind of like giving you the story of how it all came together. But I, in the beginning, it was like I might answer 10 questions and just give funny little rapid fire answers. And then I noticed that every once in a while I would do one where I spent the whole video talking about one question, just because the more I looked into it, the more interesting stuff I found about it. So I was like, cool, I'll just talk about that, this time. Those tended to do a little better, just in terms of getting more views and more comments and stuff like that. So I kind of leaned that way. And then, as the science thing, as I started getting more and more science questions, I was like, all right, fine. So I leaned that way. So it became something I never set out to do.
Were you changing based on feedback, or just doing truly what you wanted to do?
It was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
I mean, again, I'm a bit of a nerd. and so, I mean, I find those topics interesting.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it's funny, I would basically answer any question. If somebody asked a question, I would answer it, just because I only had so many people watching. But now it's at the point where I can kind of just pick whatever I want to talk about and then just do a search in the comments, and somebody has asked it at some point.
Yeah.
So I can kind of like, oh yeah, Vibrator 27 asked this question way back, 3 years ago, but actually it was just something I wanted to talk about. So I mean, there was a little bit of both.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to teach, like someone like you and I were talking earlier, right? Because there's a lot of people who want to be creators, but it's so hard. It's so hard to see the bridge to success, right? Because you see like the PewDiePies and stuff like that, right? So if you were to teach someone like where to start and how to do it, like what would be maybe some key steps to get started?
Well, it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things you can do with YouTube. But I'm assuming you're talking about building an audience.
Building an audience,
we can go from there. The first thing I would tell anybody is, if you're first starting out, you got nothing on YouTube, is build your library. A lot of people, I run into so many people that are like, oh, I've got this idea for a channel. I've got 20 different episodes outlined, and I haven't done anything yet. It's like, oh my God, The thing is, you might have the best video in the world on YouTube, but if somebody watches it and then goes to your channel and that's the only video in their channel, what are they going to subscribe to?
Right.
That one video? You got to have some kind of library built up. So, and by the way, like I've got 350 or 400, I've lost count now, number of videos I have. Let's just say 350, but whatever. Like, the more videos you have on there, the more opportunities and more touch points there are for people to find your stuff.
Yeah.
So if you overthink it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna only put out, just every once in a while when I have some brilliant idea, you're just not gonna grow as fast.
Yeah.
Now there are exceptions to that rule, obviously, but my first advice to anybody is build a library. Just start putting videos out there.
And
consistency, yeah.
So consistency. So like 1 a week, 2 a week? What do you think is something sustainable that someone can do? And I'm sure it's subjective to the individual, but like what would be an acceptable release schedule in the beginning?
Okay, well, so YouTube right now is saying multiple times a week.
Multiple times a week?
Like for the algorithm purposes.
Okay.
Now that you can do live streaming and now that it's just so much, I'm going to say easier than it used to be to just record a video and put it up. I guess there's just so much of a saturation out there that if you're going to make an impact, you've got to put out multiple times a week. And that's something I'm still struggling with right now, to be honest. But once a week is a good starting point.
Okay.
The biggest part of it, and this goes into algorithm details and stuff, but I release Monday mornings at 7:30 Central, unless something happens and I got to push it back a little bit, which is rare.
And is there a scheduling tool for that? I'm still learning the YouTube game.
Oh yeah, you can schedule.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Through the YouTube interface, or it's a third party? Okay, cool.
Yeah, like when you launch it. let's pull up a YouTube channel. But you can select public, which means it goes live.
Okay.
You can select unlisted, which means it's up, but only people who have the URL can see it.
Oh.
And then there's private, which means that I think it's also like only the URL will see it, but it also doesn't show up like in Google's stuff. Like it's kind of hidden. But the other one is scheduled, and you can schedule when it goes out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But where I was going with that was people know to look for my videos Monday mornings at 7:30, and I like to think it's a nice little start to the week. You know, something interesting to think about. Mondays, who wants to get up on Mondays? Well, I give you a reason to get up, whatever. But the point is, people know to look for it then, so then they show up.
Yeah.
And one of these little algorithm things is that the more views you get in the first 24 hours, the better it will perform throughout its life.
Interesting.
So when people know when to look for your videos, you're going to get more views in that first 24 hours, and it's going to perform better a week later and a month later. That's the theory. It doesn't always pan out, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have a lot of like entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and people looking for YouTube primarily for like marketing. So like how do you know what to create? Like what is good content to serve your audience and to start building one?
I hate to say it depends, but it depends on what you're doing, you know. Yeah. So the first thing I would say is don't try to go viral.
Okay.
So yeah, you can go viral. It happens every day, but people win the lottery every day.
Right.
It's not a business plan. Winning the lottery is not a business plan. And there are some people that have a good track record at making things go viral, but they put a lot of money into it.
Yeah. Do you do any kind of paid views or no?
I don't personally, no.
Okay, so everything is organic. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, like, okay, so I'll call him out, whatever. No, because he's a great businessman. Daryl Leaves. Have you heard of Daryl Leaves?
I haven't, no.
Okay, did you see the Squatty Potty commercial?
I did, yeah, with the unicorn.
Yeah, he did that.
Oh, okay, great.
Or he was one of the people behind that, anyway.
So he was a YouTube guy that did consulting for Squatty Potty?
No, well, he does run a YouTube channel where he gives YouTube tips and that kind of thing and entrepreneurial type stuff. But he, if I want to say this right, he has a production company and he worked with the guys, the Harmon brothers, who actually made that. So there's several entities there. But anyway, I just saw him a couple weeks ago at the Video Marketing World conference that I did, or that I worked on, and he talks about like however much money you spend making the video, you need to spend at least that much marketing it.
Really? Okay.
In that Squatty Potty commercial, they spent $500,000 making it.
Yeah.
So they spent that much again marketing it. So you can make things go viral when you throw enough money at it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying it didn't deserve to go viral. It was a great commercial. There's also, you know, a formula of getting people's attention and then keeping it and hitting certain points and emotional reactions and that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off track a little bit. The point is, yes, there are ways to make things go viral, but there's a lot of resources you got to throw at it, and it's a whole business model kind of thing. If you want to just put a video up and say, hey, I'm going to do something really crazy and it'll go viral, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know, I guess the first thing I would say is just find something that's easy to do and sustainable that you can be consistent at.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got a set going on here. You know, you got your camera, you can turn it on, boom, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest like ongoing evolving things on my channel has been finding efficiencies, finding new ways to just cut down on 3 more steps.
Yeah.
You know, biggest thing that's happened to me this whole last year is I finally got my hands on a camera and a little dongle thing that allows me to record in my computer. Because I used to record on my camera. It was a Canon 7D, and then I had a little Zoom H4n audio recorder. And I had to, like, you know, take the card out of the camera, the card out of the thing, put it in the computer, upload the footage, put it in Premiere, sync it up, right? I finally figured out how to do it all through my computer, through this program called OBS, which is this free software. Very limited in what it can do, but it can do this, right?
Yeah.
So I can just, now I turn on the camera, I open up OBS, I press the thing, I start recording, and when it's done, I just drop it into Premiere and I'm editing. So many steps got skipped, you know, when I was able to start doing that.
Huh, interesting,
so,
okay.
Finding efficiencies like that, finding ways to just keep putting out content, and in the beginning, your stuff's gonna suck.
Yeah.
And it's okay, you know? When you're talking about marketing though, it's the same kind of thing. It's just building that audience, building that library, providing value to the people. Don't always be closing doesn't work for YouTube.
Yeah.
It's be authentic, be yourself, show your scars, show your mistakes, be a human being that people can connect to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm studying marketing like crazy right now, and a lot of people have told me, identify what your audience is, look for what their problems are, and then start creating solutions through video to serve them. That's a lot like what you're doing, which is providing answers to questions that people are asking, right? And I'm also reading The Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday. Have you heard of that book? And he says, like, whenever it comes to product creation, there's two things that you should keep in mind, and maybe you will agree with this or disagree, I don't know. But he says you need to figure out how practical it is or how entertaining it is. Do you feel there's some truth to that can be applied to what to create for YouTube?
Well, obviously you got to be entertaining because people are going to watch it. If you just sit there and talk about I've got this little fuzzy bunny and like you're going to bore people to tears. You got to give people a reason to keep coming back. Not to keep going back to my channel, but that's what
this is about your channel, man. We want to learn from you.
I'm just talking more about me. No, but the thing that I always hear from people is, again, it's a science channel, but I throw jokes in there. My new sort of slogan for the channel is mind-blowing answers to the most perplexing questions in the universe with jokes. So, but the thing that I always get from people is like, you make this stuff entertaining, I guess that's my talent, if you will. But the thing is, like, if I was just up there giving stuff about quantum field theory that I barely understand myself, I don't think I would have attracted the audience that I do. But the fact that I can do that and then throw a fart noise in there every once in a while. Actually, I don't do that very much. But the fact that I can make some humor out of it is something that keeps people coming back. Yeah,
and I think there's an interesting mix there with the videos that I've seen from you. They're all educational and they all are entertaining. And if you can kind of combine the two, the fun and educational, I think that's a winning combination, and that's what I've experienced from your channel. So we've kind of talked about the beginning, like how to start to create the consistency, some of the keys. Now, I know one of the things that you're passionate about is talking about how to grow a channel. So like once you have a little bit of a following and some momentum, like how do you get it out there then?
Once you have the momentum going?
Yeah.
The first thing that's coming to my mind as you ask that question is the whole efficiencies thing.
That happens here, yeah.
What the hell was that?
The pipes, yeah.
See, I throw fart noises into my videos no matter where I go.
There you go, yeah.
So threw me. What was that? Seriously?
Yeah, it's the pipes. Yeah, I keep it in the recordings now. It's like it's a pain to have to edit that out, but that's gonna happen throughout the duration of our conversation.
Great segue. That's a great segue. So that's the thing you leave in now. You just said.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So there's a book called Primal Branding.
Okay.
That I recommend to any marketer out there. YouTube actually refers to this book in terms of like telling their creators how to build audiences and stuff. And one of the things that he talks about in there is rituals. And this is something I struggle with for so long because it's like, how do you create a ritual? And what it is basically is like if you watch a lot of big YouTube channels, they open every video the same way and they close every video the same way. Like if you watch Phil DeFranco, he's got, hello, you beautiful bastards, this is Phil DeFranco, and he starts, it's almost annoying to be honest with you, but like he starts every video exactly the same, ends it the same way. But, Wheezy Waiter, if you follow him, he does this whole punching eagles thing, and he's got clones of himself that are, it's a comedy channel.
Yeah.
But, so the things that you leave in, the little inside jokes, are what kind of builds a community.
Yeah.
Because people start to look for them, and they, we'll talk about it in the comments. Oh, you put that line in there today. Some of mine, just to share. And these just kind of happened organically.
Yeah.
Like I said, I read the book, and as I was building the channel, I was like, oh, I need to find rituals, and how do you come up with that? And I really struggle with it. They talk about creating a name for your audience, which I still have not quite figured out. But so, okay, I spin around in my chair at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why. I think I just didn't want to start the video with my face. I wanted like some kind of entrance, but I didn't want to like walk in. Like it was just the simplest thing because I was in a revolving chair. I was like, I'll spin around in my chair at the beginning of it. And so that's what I started doing, and I think it's kind of silly actually. But I've had people say that I've had comments from people that say that their kids love my show and they call me the Spinning Man.
The Spinning Man, wow.
Yeah.
So people are connecting with it, yeah.
They connect with it,
yeah.
And it's become this whole thing, and so that's one thing. I do this thing now, like whenever I'm talking about a scientist, like let's say Peter Higgs, who came up with the whole Higgs field thing back in the 60s, he's still around. He's like 90-something years old, and he's still doing science. And so whenever there's that, whenever I see one of those, I always say, "Good show, old chap." I don't think that's even the way that phrase is supposed to be used, but I use it, and it's something that I just kind of kept doing. I have something called a tangent cam.
Yeah.
Where I'm talking, I call it the camera A or whatever, but I'm talking, and then I have some just kind of interesting side note. And I've got my little GoPro over here, and I just turn around, and it's got tangent cam across the bottom. So I throw in a little tangent.
Yeah.
And over time, I started ending my videos the same way. And again, it wasn't necessarily because I wanted a ritual at the end. It was like, I'm just bad at ending videos. If I don't have something solid there to just kind of like hang my hat on.
Yeah.
Then I said, there's like, okay, I guess I'm done talking now. So, but just having that little button at the end that you can just go to. I always say, love you guys, take care at the end. And I totally stole that from Dean Lewis, who taught my stand-up comedy class that I did way back when. At the end of class, he would say, love you guys. And it was just a little thing, but I always walked out like, oh, he's
so. But you're honestly just being yourself, though, right? Like, are you putting on a character to any degree, or is it just honestly just the way that you are? Like your friends, when they see your videos and they get to hang out with you, like, that really is him.
I've had people who don't know me who have been watching my channel and then met me in person. They're like, wow, you're exactly the same in person. And I'm like, well,
yeah, I felt that way when you had lunch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to showing your scars and showing your mistakes, and every once in a while throw in a blooper,
Yeah.
I script all my videos.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
You can actually you can tell the ones that I don't script because I just ramble and they're way too long. Actually, scripting them actually keeps them. And
when you script, are you going like you're not like a teleprompter or anything like that, but just you internalize the points and then you.
Well, no, not even that. I have, so my setup is I've got 2 screens on my computers there. My camera's like right above the screen. I've got my script in Evernote. Yeah. Right there on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So I just do them one line at a time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And every once in a while, when I'm writing them, I just kind of like, I know now how long is too long.
Yeah.
To where it's like, there's no way I'm going to get that line out,
Oh, interesting.
And I don't nail it every time. Sometimes it's more of a paraphrase, but as long as I get the point out, without stumbling too much. So I do, and maybe to brag a little, I do have an acting background, so maybe I do have more of an ability than, say, the average person to take a line and make it sound normal.
Sure, yeah.
But it's all from me, But I allow myself to make mistakes, and if you go back to what time? Actually, I guess it was about this time last year. I did a treatment on my face for precancerous spots.
Oh wow!
That made me look like I stuck my head in a deep fryer or something. Like I looked terrible, but I kept making videos. And I told people, I was like, this is what I'm going through. I'm sorry I look like Quasimodo, but or Sloth from Goonies. But I think doing things like that humanizes you. Yeah. And people kind of come along for the ride. My grandmother passed away. I did a video about that. Has nothing to do with the content of my channel, but I talked about it. I try not to do too many of those kinds of things because that's not really what the channel's about. But it's still just being honest with people and putting yourself out there.
I think your response is interesting because when if I was to ask, let's say, a marketer about how to grow a YouTube channel, they'd probably talk about Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. Your response was more about being authentic, being real, and showing your scars. What's interesting is that I'll just be very honest with you. I've struggled with that my entire media career, even professional career. It's like I always have to be perfect. I always have to be structured and stuff like that. But what's interesting is that you mentioned the bloopers that I put. Those are always the ones that get the most views. Like I do cheat meal videos and stuff like that, and just I guess things that show a little bit more of my personality versus just extracting content from a guest. And those are the ones that always seem to do better. That's very interesting.
It is interesting, and I don't. It may be a uniquely YouTube thing. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, people. You're right. I don't know. I think there's something shifting in the media landscape thanks to things like YouTube.
Yeah.
For example, there's some friends of mine who did a show that was like sort of an interview show, but it was at a coffee shop, and they did a fantastic job at it. But they showed it to me, and it looked like something that could be on the Food Network or something.
Wow.
Very professional, and I was like, it looks fantastic, and it won't work on YouTube because it looked too good. It
looked too good.
Yeah. And the person that was hosting it did a fantastic job hosting it in a Food Network kind of way. But it was that sort of like you said, very professional.
It was too,
it was way too polished.
Produced,
and I was like,
yeah.
You need a little shaky cam. You need some stuff to be out of focus, everyone. Like, it needs to have a little grunge to it.
Yeah.
For the YouTube audience to be like, yeah, he's being real.
Yeah.
Like, they pick up on that so much.
Like with your setup, it's just in your office, right? It's usually just one,
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, I do frame out all the crap on the table and stuff the best I can. But,
so on the topic of growing, do you do anything organic in terms of like promoting? Like, do you do social stuff? Is it all just from YouTube that you're getting your views at, or what do you do?
It's 99% from YouTube. And,
really?
And I try to expand out into Facebook and these other places, but when you're getting your results in one place, you kind of keep your focus there because that's what's working. You know, so that's why I've stuck with focusing more on the YouTube. But I got a Facebook page. Only this year, finally, I got a website set up. So there's answerswithjoe.com, and that is good for anybody running a YouTube channel for a number of reasons that I could go into. Mostly that by setting up an associated website in YouTube, you can redirect through that to anywhere you want people to go.
Okay. Whether
you're selling something or whether you want to send them to a website or something, you can put little cards and annotations up there and do it that way. Anyway, but I did a thing in September where I was really trying to build my Facebook following. And what I did was, and this goes into the structure of my videos a little bit, I always start with an intro, and then I've got this animated logo thing that's really quick. It's like 3 seconds long. But I always try to start with like whatever the topic might be, I try to hit it from the side or find some parallel thing that's sort of like an interesting nugget of information to start with. And this actually goes against the best practices that you see in most places.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Most of them, they say, like, you want to jump right into the topic as fast as possible because people lose interest. And that's true. But I also think there's a little bit of like a counterintuitive thing where, like, if the title of the video is, I keep saying this, quantum field theory or something, and then I start talking about, no, let me use a real example. If the title of the video is what would happen if you fell into Jupiter, and then I start the video by talking about a tornado in Oklahoma in 1995, people are like, why is he talking about
what's the
this?
Connection, yeah.
But the connection is that tornado was the fastest wind speed ever recorded on planet Earth.
Well, to me that would be interesting because I'm drawn in by the title. Then you're talking about this. It makes me want to like, okay,
where's
what's
he
the
going with
connection?
this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's counterintuitive. Again, like YouTube best practices would say, don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's working for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. But the point is, so in that example, I talked about the fastest wind speed ever recorded on Earth, and then compared it to the average wind speed on Jupiter, which is like 5 times that.
Yeah.
And it's like, so guess what happens when you fall into Jupiter? It's not a good day. But anyway, so I would take these kind of interesting nugget intros and that could stand alone a little bit. And I put them on Facebook, like natively on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
In the hopes that people would find them interesting and share them. And I did a whole month, I called it the September Splurge, where I took some of my top videos of all time, and I made those intros and I put them on Facebook, and I also did a podcast. I did podcast versions of those videos. It didn't have the effect that I was hoping for, honestly, but I'm also not really putting any money into it. It was just like I just put it out there, and if people shared it, they shared it. I could probably be doing more in terms of the social media part of it, but there's only so much that I can spend time on.
Yeah.
So I've been focusing on the YouTube.
But something that I know you do consulting, right, for business owners, like to helping grow their YouTube channels and stuff like that. So something I know that I'm terrible at is like the meta information in terms of like YouTube. So like, give us maybe 2 or 3 really important things that every YouTube video needs to have kind of a checklist in terms of like once you publish, you need to make sure this is right.
Okay, so the thing that I always have to start with is say, you have to know what YouTube wants.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about algorithms here. And so they're going to promote the videos that are going to get them what they want as a company. And YouTube wants to make more money. So the thing that YouTube is going for right now is they're really positioning themselves to be another Netflix, another Hulu. That's the direction they're going in. You're hearing a lot about this, actually. They just launched the YouTube TV. Have you heard about this?
The red...
No, it's YouTube TV.
YouTube TV, okay. No,
Like you can get live TV channels.
From the networks?
Yeah.
Through... Interesting,
Yeah,
okay.
and cable channels and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's melding YouTube and television.
How
It's
about
$35 a month, and you get YouTube Red along with it, I believe. But
and then you don't need a cable service anymore because you have it coming through YouTube.
Yep.
Interesting.
So they're going that way. That's
Wow.
the lesson there.
That's going to be interesting to see what happens.
The thing that you want to focus on is think in terms of playlists. That's something that people don't use. Even I'm guilty of this. You don't use playlists enough.
Yeah.
And what that is most people use it just as a way to organize their videos. Okay, this is all the videos about cards. This is all the videos about rockets or whatever, and that's helpful. But what YouTube really wants people to do is to play a playlist and then just sit back and watch video after video after video.
Huh.
So what they call that is session time.
A session time.
Yeah. So watch time is important. Wow, I'm really about to start going all YouTube nerdy here, but I guess that's what you're asking for.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay, so it used to be all about views. Whatever got the most views got boosted in the algorithm. But of course, people were able to game that system. People are always going to be able to game the system, and they're already gaming every time they make an update, it's immediately being gamed. But so they changed it from the views thing because people would put a thumbnail and a title up of girls in bikinis on a beach or something, and then it was some guy sitting there talking about this Charles Dickens book or something. Like you weren't getting what you clicked on.
Right.
So so they started saying, okay, well, let's go away from that and go to watch time, because if somebody clicks on a video and it's not what they thought it was, then they'll click away, and then so videos that get really low watch time don't get promoted as much. So then it gets back into just the quality of your content and keeping people interested and occupied throughout the video. But anyway, so there's watch time that's important, but there's also session time. And session time is the amount of time that somebody spends on YouTube, not just on your video, but on, if they sit down and they watch your video and then it leads to another one and another one and another one, then you get credit for all that session time.
Even if it's not in your channel?
Right.
As long as it's part of that genre of content, I guess?
I don't think genre has anything to do with it. I think it's just like if somebody clicks on my video and I say, you got to watch this Vsauce video that explains this, probably better than I am, and then they go to Vsauce, and then it sends them to a Veritasium video, and then It's Okay to Be Smart, and then, Smarter Every Day, then I'll still get credit in the algorithm.
So session time is how long someone stays on YouTube from the time that they go into one video and the time that they exit.
Right.
If you brought them in, because it gives all the suggested, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of creepy too, yeah. Wow.
Well, but the cool thing to me is like, it used to be like, okay, I've got to find some other video of mine to send people to. And of course you want the watch time and the view. But what's cool is, for me anyway, is if I'm talking about a subject that's way over my head, but there's a video out there from Computer File or Number File or something that really, really explains it well, I can just say, hey, check this video out.
Yeah.
And it still gives me a little bit of a boost. I'm not punished for sending somebody off to another video.
Yeah.
To
me, the points that you're making, it's all about really the content, not so much the tags or the description or the title, or is that a big thing also?
There's little things that you can do there. It's funny, people like, I think the reason people want to find some kind of magic formula there is because it's that pill. That magic pill you can take and it'll get you all everything you need. And it's not quite that simple. They do matter, don't get me wrong, they do matter. But here's my advice to that. Going back to the playlist thing, the more sticky you can make a video in terms of using the same keywords in your meta tags, your keywords, and your description, and in your title, and in your playlist. So like there's like several different touch points. Those would be the main four.
So you said description,
Yeah.
Playlist, title, and then tags.
Tags.
Got it. Okay.
Just for example, these are things you learn along the way. Anything that I do about Elon Musk usually does pretty well.
Yeah.
If I don't, he's always trending. He is just always, there's something that everybody's interested in with him at any given point. And so if I'm experiencing a lull, if my views are down,
Elon Musk.
I'll do something about SpaceX. You know, and it always like jumps back up. So that's my secret formula right there. Talk about Elon Musk. But for example, so let's say I did one on, they had the Tesla Semi reveal yesterday or Thursday. If I were to do a video about that, I don't have one planned, but who knows? Then in the title, I would make sure and say Elon Musk reveals the Tesla Semi. Here's the full details or something like that.
Okay.
And then in the description, which if you're going to do a description, you're probably going to naturally have those keywords in there anyway. But Elon Musk, Tesla Semi, Tesla Motors, all those, he's one of the, like naturally in the description, and then get those in the meta tags, the keywords down at the bottom. Elon Musk, Tesla Semi, Tesla Semi reveal.
Yeah.
I always talk about like when you're dealing with the meta tags, I call them keywords, but just think about what people would be searching for.
Yeah.
Somebody might type Tesla Semi reveal, or what does the new Tesla Semi look like? You might even do something like that.
Yeah.
Some people even misspell on purpose because people misspell words.
Misspell words. You know what's interesting? Okay, so I don't know if this just kind of came to me. You mentioned you talk about what's kind of like popular, what's trending. Like I know like in YouTube you can see what's trending, right? So I mean, would it make sense for a creator to sort of like genuinely link whatever they're trying to produce to maybe something that's trending?
Link it in what way?
Link it in terms of like the topic.
The topic, yeah.
Right?
That's actually a very smart thing to do.
Interesting.
So because I've had a calendar, like a subject calendar for a while. I haven't done this lately, so bad on me.
Yeah.
But Google Trends, have you used that ever?
No, but I will now.
Yeah, if you go to Google Trends, there's actually some really cool stuff. You can get down to like the city level, what's trending in Dallas, or what's trending.
With just the free Google Trends thing of what people are talking about?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you can get keyword ideas that way, but also topic ideas. Like if I had 5 different topics and I'm like, I don't know which one to do, I might go into Google Trends and just see which one is higher and use that one. Because again, Elon Musk, always trending.
Yeah.
So his videos always do well. So if there's,
How about
and that's
that?
why also like, fidget spinners, right? Everybody had a fidget spinner, including me, a fidget spinner video because it was trending. Everybody was talking about it. So, so everybody jumps on that bandwagon.
Huh.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay.
So Google Trends actually is a very good tool to use.
I also know like people who use, like, I've never heard of Twitter as a research tool before, but Jasmine Branch is the CEO of DFW tech startup. I just butchered that. But yeah, she's like, whenever I'm looking for topics to create about, she's like, I use Twitter as a research tool. Well, you can use any kind of digital medium now as a research tool, right? That's interesting.
How does she use it? I'm curious.
I don't know. I could connect you guys, and you guys can talk about it. But yeah, I wish I was paying attention. But yeah, I just knew the idea and the concept. So.
I don't do the Twitter nearly as well as I should.
Yeah.
I'm way behind on that.
Well, that's really interesting. Well, that's a huge takeaway that I'm thinking about now. Linking kind of your content organically and genuinely to something that's being popularly talked about. How about that? Joe, can you make money on YouTube? Can anyone make money on YouTube?
I'm starting to. Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you my income. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, whatever. Brain fart. Show your mistakes. No, I can tell you how I make revenue. That's the word I'm looking for. God.
What's the business name?
I'm only a writer for a living. Why would I need to know words?
Yeah.
No, so there's been a few that have come up. So there's, all right, so everybody talks about the Google AdSense. That's where Google pays you for the views that you get. Starting out, you're just not going to make any money doing that.
Yeah. For
a very long time. Again, I'm in my 3rd year, and it was really this year when I finally started really, it was only this year when it became a significant chunk of money that I could put into a bank account somewhere. You know? And right now, it's now
from the AdSense, from the okay, yeah. And that's the thing that pops up when you click a video and it says, skip in 3 seconds. That's what's showing up?
There's a few of them. So there's the pre-roll ads, that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
There's the banner ads that pop up, which to me are even more annoying.
Video, yeah, right, yeah.
And then there's the display ads on the side, which are just like off on the side on the YouTube channel, which probably nobody even looks at them.
And can you control which ones come up on your videos, or is it always just the one size? Okay.
When you go to monetize it, so like when you're in the info and settings thing, where you put in your title and your description and all that, there's a monetization button, and you click that, and that's where you turn on the monetization. Don't forget to do that. But then underneath that, you can pick which ones you want to use. I just click them all.
You just click them all.
Because more opportunities to make money, really.
Yeah.
There's also sponsored cards. Cards are really important. You can go in and add, this is where you link off to other videos or to another website or something like that.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do annotations. I mean, you still can, but this is the whole thing. Now you can either do end screens or annotations.
Okay.
And you really want to use the end screens more often.
And what does that look like when you're watching a video? What exactly is that?
In the last 20 seconds of a video, if you see like a circle come up with the person's logo, that's a subscribe button. That's the end screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on end screens, you can do a subscribe button. You can do link off to another website or whatever, an associated website. You can do like a Patreon or any crowdfunding, fundraising website, and you can do links to other videos or playlists of your own or anybody else's.
And they pay you to put that link there?
No, sorry, I got off on a little bit of a tangent.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what the end screens are.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And what I was saying was that once upon a time, they had these annotations where you could literally create a box on the screen and have people click on that box.
I remember those, yeah.
Yeah. And you still can do that, but for some reason you can either do that or the end screens. You can't do both.
Yeah.
And I always choose the end screens because they're just so much simpler and people interact with them a lot better.
Yeah.
So anyway, in place of those annotations, now there are cards. So if you're watching a video and you see a little thing slide across the top with a little eye and a circle button there, that's a card. But you can sell sponsored cards so that BMW or whoever could like pop up a little thing and if somebody clicks on it, it comes down and you can see an image and all that kind of stuff.
Got it. Okay, so they buy the space to put it on these cards then.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
I don't know if anybody's even doing that on my channel, to be honest. But, but I usually leave that option open in case. Because that's just money.
So those are the two ways that you can make money on YouTube, is the ads and then also the sponsored cards.
Sponsored cards are part of ads.
That's part of the ads. That's just another box that you can click to be like, yeah, put this on there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So all that is under AdSense revenue.
Yeah.
And then there's like Patreon. I started Patreon a couple of years ago. It's both of those now are getting up to where it's significant amounts of money for me. So the Patreon thing is sort of like this lesson I had to learn all over again about like not getting jacked up over the numbers.
Yeah.
Because I have a secret. I call it Joe's Secret Vlog, which is basically my chance to do videos on things that are not science. It's just like me talking about whatever. It's in the news, or I did one about the whole sexual harassment stuff that's going on. Which I used to be able to talk about all kinds of stuff, and now whenever I go off topic, people are like, "What is this?" So anyway, so I've been doing that on Patreon. I had been frustrated because I've got like 200 people on Patreon sponsoring me, and I might get 10 views on the video.
And what's the model behind Patreon? What exactly? How does that work?
Oh, okay, yeah, I can back up a little bit. Patreon is a subscription donation service kind of thing. It's like Kickstarter, but on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Now, actually, there's two different ways to do it. You can do it per video. Some people do it that way. So if somebody wants to donate $1 per video, then they can do that. I do mine monthly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a donation thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Patreon just had a round of funding, and they put I want to say $80 million they got or something like that. But they put out this letter that I got to be honest, it really jazzed me up about what they're doing, because it's really giving creators the opportunity to be funded by their fans.
Yeah.
Instead of being instead of being beholden to advertisers. Because even on YouTube,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Have you heard about the adpocalypse?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well that was a big thing amongst YouTubers. It didn't affect me that much, so I'm just kind of like whatever. But they demonetized a lot of videos. Because what was happening was, Procter & Gamble is running ads on ISIS videos. And they find out, I didn't realize we were
profiting off this.
Well, yeah,
kind of
I mean,
thing,
they didn't realize, because it's all this like online auction thing, and it's all automated, and so anyway, they found out that their videos were going on, or their ads were going on videos that they were not comfortable with.
Sure, yeah.
So YouTube starts demonetizing a whole bunch of stuff. And for example, it's a little bit out of control. They did demonetize one of my videos just because the word drug was in the title.
Really?
Yeah. And I was talking about my dog. I was talking about,
wow.
we got a new dog, and I just like fell in love with it immediately and grew ovaries and stuff. And I was talking about oxytocin.
Okay.
They call it the cuddle hormone.
Yeah.
It's what your body produces to make you bond with something. So I was, of course, I had to be all nerdy about it. So I was like talking about that. And so in the title I said, is love just a drug? And they saw the word drug and demonetized my video. I'm like, guys, come on, you know. But I don't curse in my videos, or if I do, I bleep it out. Honestly, I think it's funnier to bleep out curse words than to actually do it. But anyway, so mine are pretty clean. But there are other people who don't want to do that, and fine, that's okay. But advertisers are probably not going to be wanting to advertise on your content. So what Patreon does is it gives you the opportunity to do whatever you want and be funded by the people that want to see it.
I like that. It's kind of like democratizes, like instead of that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how do they do it? Is it a link? Do they have to, like, how do they get prompted to donate?
I tell them.
Oh, okay. So it is a call to action, and it's a website?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
So like in my videos,
it doesn't show up like an ad or anything.
I mean, I guess you could, but most people just say, hey, if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support the channel and get some free perks, you can go to patreon.com.
And then does Patreon take a cut?
Oh, of course.
Okay, yeah. And then they send you a okay, got it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But I mean, like, so for example, on mine, some of the things that I do, there are different tiers.
Yeah.
So mine right now, they actually I just redid all this recently. So there's $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, and I just added a $2.50.
Yeah.
The $2.50 one is more like a sponsorship level. Like if somebody wanted to put a logo or an icon in the shelf behind me to promote whatever, as long as I'm comfortable with it, you know.
Cool.
Nobody's taken me up on that one yet, but I just launched it. But anyway, you get different perks at different levels. Like a $50 person gets to ask a question, and I answer that question once a month.
Yeah.
And funny, they don't give me questions very often. Like I'm always coming to them like, guys, I want to make sure you're getting your money's worth here.
Sure,
so give me a question. And they're always like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I'm like, all right, well, if you do, let me know. You know? But yeah, there's 4 different people that are given $50 a month.
How about that, man?
So $20, you get your name up on screen at the end as a credit. The $10 ones, you get to join me in a once a month video chat.
Oh, cool.
The $5 ones, you get to be a part of the Facebook group. $1, just you get access to my secret. I do outtakes on there. I share extra stuff from videos that maybe got cut. I do this secret vlog thing that I was talking about. And what got me started on all that in the first place was I was having trouble getting people to watch the secret vlog. And getting frustrated by that. But then again, the whole consistency thing, just do it for the sake of doing it. Don't get worked up over the numbers. I've been more consistent about it. In the last few, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people.
Yeah.
And part of that, and this is a frustration on my part of that is that it's all through Patreon. Patreon is wonderful. The things they do well are wonderful. The things they don't do well are not so wonderful. But it's, what I wish you could do is have it be integrated into YouTube so that, listen, Patreon, I want this. Integrate into YouTube so that it could be unlisted to everybody else, but Patreon supporters would see it in their feed. That way it would just show up as videos to them. But right now they have to go to Patreon. And if they're following me on Patreon, they get some kind of notification either through the app on their phone or an email or something. So, but right now they have to go to Patreon. And that's a little bit frustrating because most people are like, I don't. Yeah. You know.
Well, first off, I just really like the idea that there's a platform that actually does that. It's a really no, absolutely. I think so. I think that's I think that's.
It took a while for it to grow, but now it's a significant source of revenue for me right now.
So we talked about Patreon. We talked about ads or the AdSense piece. Now I know there's some. I think we mentioned this at lunch, but there's actual direct brand deals, right?
Yes.
Companies actually approaching.
That would be the third one.
Is it a little bit more sophisticated? How does that work?
So I got approached. Actually, the one I'm putting out on Monday is another sponsored one. I got approached by a group out of Detroit called the Out Loud Group, and they hooked me up with the Great Courses Plus.
The Great
Courses
Plus. Okay.
Yeah. They do a lot of sponsorships on YouTube videos, so I wasn't too surprised to hear from them. I mean, I was happy, but this was back in September. Yeah, that was when I first started doing videos with them. I had 3 that month, and I've got 2 this month. And it looks like I got 2 more lined up for December, not through them, but through somebody else. Right now, they've all just come to me. But, so, okay, I'd never really done that before. So I didn't know how the deals worked and how to structure all that. But basically what it comes down to is you guarantee a certain number of views, and in return for that, they pay you a certain amount of money. And there's a website called Social Blue Book. I think I may have said something.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I wrote that down.
So socialbluebook.com, it's when I first heard about it, I was like, yes! Because nobody ever knows what to charge for this kind of stuff. Nobody knows what their social brand is worth, right?
Yeah. How does it get that information?
I don't know.
But it's at least a data point. It's a data point that you can use,
I think they look at the engagement on your channel, how much comments you get, how many comments you get, how many views, and there's some metrics there. They crunch some numbers, but that's a starting point. You can go there and say, like, I've got this place is telling me I can charge this much money. So that's what I came back with. They're like, can you do it for this much? I'm like, well, Social Blue Book's telling me I should charge this much.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we can work with that. If you can guarantee X number of views, and I'm like, sure. And that's another exciting thing for me personally, is I'm at a place now where again, if I need to do get a lot of views, I can do an Elon Musk video.
Yeah.
Or I know what topics are going to resonate and are going to do well. I know how I can structure or talk about a video. I'm not really an opinionated guy necessarily. Like I don't hold like really strong opinions and think I'm right about everything. That's kind of like part of my channel is like we don't know what we're talking about half the time. But I did a video not too long ago where I titled it 5 Reasons Going to Mars is a Terrible Idea. And it was really just about the challenges that we're going to face going there that a lot of people are not really thinking about when they talk about going to Mars. And it got a lot of strong reaction from people on both sides. But just the fact that I was kind of like taking a hard stance on something, or I seem to be taking a hard stance on something, it did really well. So, I mean, I know these little triggers that can make, and this applies only to my channel, as far as I know. It might apply to others. There's probably some things I can extrapolate from that. But I'm at a point now where if they say, can you guarantee 20,000 views? I'm like, yeah.
With certainty.
I know what to do to get there. Yeah.
You're developing your own kind of algorithm then, I guess.
Kinda, yeah.
Interesting. And then what do you have to do? You just have to mention them in the video? Do you do a kind of a graphic for them? Or what do you do in exchange?
They do have some standards that you have to have on there. Like every once in a while there's just certain things you have to say.
And every company will be different based on their branding guidelines and stuff like that.
But I mean, for me, like, actually I had a lot of fun with the Mars one. Because I don't normally do this, but I did a clone thing, sort of like, so I did a split screen. So I'm just like naysaying throughout this whole video, going to Mars is a terrible idea. And then at the end, I edited it so that I popped in on the other side wearing glasses, so I'm a different person. I played counter argument Joe. And I was like, but we need to inspire the world, and there's all these good reasons to go to Mars, and so we had this like dialogue back and forth, and then I kind of just naturally segued into what I say. One of the points about going to Mars was that your body would atrophy from like 7 months in weightlessness, and then the 1/3 gravity on Mars and stuff. And I was like, well, your body might waste away while you're in outer space, but your mind doesn't have to, because there's the Great Courses Plus. And thank you, segue man. And anyway, so then I had like a back and forth between myself talking about the Great Courses Plus. I think they liked it. But no, like in their case, you talk about they have all these different lectures from these different professors, Ivy League schools on every topic in the world, and it's actually a really neat website, honestly. They're not paying me to say that now, but anyway, so you do that. They give you a code. You put that in the description. It's like thegreatcoursesplus.com/answerswithjoe gives you like a free month. I'm giving them free promo now. But anyway, it's but that's what you do. You just kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't have to lie too much. I mean, you're selling you're selling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really is a cool website. Like if you go in there and start looking at all the courses, just like you get a nerd boner. It's like, oh my God, there's so much stuff I can learn just from screwing around on this site. You know. So I talk about that. But that's what that's all about. You talk about it at the end, and then you close out your video.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Joe, where's the channel going? What do you see for the future of it, man? Where are you taking it?
It's pretty exciting. If the growth that I'm seeing right now continues for the next 6 to 8 months, I'm really excited about where things are going.
Where does it look like it's going?
Well, first of all, when you get to 100,000, that's a pretty legit point. It's not like the whole world changes or anything, but you get a little silver play button from YouTube, so you get a little recognition there. I've heard that they actually give you like a partner manager, like somebody that works with your channel from YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're now making them a lot of money. Like they are now going to pay attention to you. I know that I didn't talk about MCNs.
What is that?
Multi-channel networks.
Okay.
So there's tons of them out there now. And really, if you have when you first have an MCN reach out to you and they're like, we want to bring you into our network because you're making amazing content, you're like, oh my God, somebody likes me and they want to make more money for me. No, they just want to take your money. When you're small, bless me. When you're a small YouTuber, they're not giving you much.
Yeah.
They're like, you have access to our free music library. I got plenty of music that I can use. The point that I'm getting at here is, I actually was reached out to by, I won't say their name, I'll be nice, an MCN, and they were like, we want to bring you on. And I called them and I was like, okay, here's what I need. I said, I need somebody to be more like a talent rep that can get me on podcasts, that can get me speaking engagements, that can get me hooked up with other YouTubers for collaborations and stuff like that. That's something we didn't really talk about, but it's really important. And I said, can you guys do that for me? I said, I don't need your money. I don't need your music library. I don't need you guiding my channel. I do that for major brands. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. This is what I need. And she straight up told me, she's like, well, we don't do that for anybody that has under 100,000 viewers or subscribers. And so there's a bit of a plateau there where suddenly people will take you a bit more seriously and offer you things that they don't offer other people. Yeah. So, it's exciting just to reach that point, and I know that there will be some windows and doors that
once you hit
window or a door, some hole in the wall that will open, that will bring some more opportunities that are exciting. And it's also just as the channel continues to grow, it's going to start to become a pretty good source of revenue. I think I'll be able to do that full time. Yeah. And not have to worry about the consulting and the other stuff. But my hope is to get back into more short film type stuff. Yeah. And I said I was going to be doing more of that between 50 and 100, and here I am at 75, and I still haven't really been able to do that because I've just been cranking out content. But I've got some, I've got some short film sketch ideas for sci-fi concepts that are still funny, and I'm trying to piece those together, and I'm hoping after I get to 100,000, I can start doing some more of those, and that the channel will eventually transition into something more like that. Because that's really where my passion is. Yeah. And that's really why I got started doing it in the first place. I didn't really say this earlier, but it was to build an audience so that when I wanted to make a film, I had an audience there to sell to.
That you could, got it. Wow. Are there any YouTubers out there that you'd love to do a collaboration with?
Of course. Everybody always points, so I'll never get a collaboration with these guys because they're way too big, but there's Vsauce. They have like 12 million subscribers. It's just insane. There is very rarefied space over 10 million. Very, very rare to get that. But yeah, there's It's Okay to Be Smart is a guy who's also named Joe, actually, from Austin. And he's with PBS Digital Studios. Okay. That honestly is where I would really love to see my channel go, is to like join something like that. PBS Digital Studios has several different shows, all on science and that kind of stuff, smart stuff. So I would love to get engaged in some channels like that.
Cool.
There's a lot of people that I've been wanting to get on my podcast. That's kind of partly why, and I've been failing so hard at my podcast lately, but partly why I wanted to do the podcast was just it was an easy chance to collaborate with bigger people, and not just to create that relationship, which is obviously important, but also to provide that for my viewers. I am not a scientist, but I talk about it all the time. So I would love to have people who really have a PhD, in biology, like Joe Hansen at It's Okay to Be Smart. Like, he really knows what he's talking about. I would love to be able to collaborate with people like that have that extra level of education.
Yeah.
Maybe we can set that up here in the future then, man.
So that concludes part 1 of my in-depth interview with Joe Scott. Next week, we're going to talk about his ideas and his views on why you should also have your own side hustle, your own side business, and how he was able to successfully bring his own oral healthcare product to the market. So make sure to tune in next week on the next episode of the Pathways to Success.